I'm Christine, and today we're discussing our January 2017 Booksplosion Book of the Month. This month we've been working with Disney Hyperion, Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken, which, if you don't already know, is the sequel to her Passenger duology, which was last year's January Book of the Month. I'm so relieved to have finished a book in the year 2017. I finished Wayfarer. I've been going back and forth with the audiobook and the regular book so that I can listen in times where I can't actually physically read. And the audiobook is great. I do personally enjoy physically reading Alex's books more because I like the voices in my head better than the voices. That was weird. So Wayfarer. This is the first duology I think I've finished. Have I read duologies before? I don't know if I've read a duology before. It was really interesting to see the story wrap up in 2 books rather than 3 or 1. Yeah, I haven't finished the Six of Crows duology yet. This is the first duology I finished. I think it wrapped up really well. I think it had a really nice end. It was a long book. I feel like Wayfarer was longer than Passenger, and I don't know if it just felt that way for reasons I'll go into in the spoilery section, or was it physically longer? Okay, it is physically longer, but it just felt longer because of certain things that were happening. So it took me a little longer to get through it, but it was beautifully written, just like Passenger. The characters are fantastic. Actually, like the characters that I think shined a lot in this book shifted from the characters that shined in Passenger. I had new characters that I was like, I'm living for you right now. I'm living for you. I think I'd give Wayfarer like a 92, 93% because I can't say anything because this is the second. You have to read it and find out for yourself. But it was really good. It was a fantastic, super cool scavenger hunt through all these different time periods, and we met so many different types of people. I very much enjoyed my time in this world. That is all I'm gonna say in the non-spoilery section because it's the second book and I can't really say much. If you haven't finished it yet, go ahead, read it, finish, then come back and we can discuss it together, okay? Goodbye, non-spoilery folks. Goodbye. Okay, so Wayfarer. I have my pearls on today because I feel like it makes me sophisticated and more. In the past, initial thoughts was that this was a frustrating book because the couple was apart. Like, the whole book. I don't know if I mentioned this in my previous book talk, and I don't know if this clicked in my brain. Like, while I was reading Passenger, it hit me in Wayfarer, and I couldn't believe, like, I hadn't commented on the fact that our main character is Nick Carter. Like, Nick Carter? The Backstreet Boys. Nick Carter. Backstreet's back. Alright. You know what would be cool if after the end they hit up a Backstreet Boys concert together to celebrate their reuniting and saving the world together. Anyway, it was that classic book 2 struggle of the couple being apart. And like, don't get me wrong, they had great scenes apart and great character development and there was other fun stuff happening, but I was like, no! I want them together now! The scene at the end was, I think, my favorite scene in the book because it just felt so beautiful. A year later, when she's about to go do her solo piece as part of the orchestra, and she looks out and she sees her mom, and that was so nice because her mom wasn't there the first time, and then she sees her dad and she's like, what the actual? And then she sees Nick. It's such a nice, heartwarming end to see her playing her heart out for her family and then being proud of her. I love her dad. Okay, that's something I also really enjoyed about this book. We knew it was gonna happen. We knew she had to meet her dad, but I really loved their relationship together. They had this kind of instant bond, and Henry already knew all this stuff about her and was always so proud of her, and she felt so proud that he was proud, and they met the Tsar of Russia together, and it was just this nice little moment until it was destroyed by someone trying to bomb them up. But I really like her dad, and it's such a bummer. She had to grow up without him, and I know it was for reasons. I want them to be a happy family now. Lee Min seems magical to me. She's so cool. She just like comes out of the shadows. I guess it's because she was raised kind of as a shadow or into that life, but she wasn't very old when she escaped them. So there's a lot of new stuff that was dropped on us in Wayfarer. It was like a lot of information at once, and in the moment I was like, oh, but now I kind of am like, I'd have to go back and read that again to really fully understand it, which I guess is the detriment of just having 2 books to tell the story, to create this giant complicated world. I thought the story about the alchemist and his offspring and how they each got an astrolabe was so interesting and cool. The Ancient One and the Belladonna were both descendants of that original alchemist. I kind of wish we saw more hints of it in the first book, just because it did feel like a lot to learn all in one go and not process as we went along. Because like initially that Belladonna scene was just like, whoa, it kind of blew my mind open because I wasn't expecting magic to be used in this world. She clearly is using some sort of magic. Rather than, I know time travel is magic, but it felt like a set type of magic, like, we can time travel. But she was like creepy and weird and candles were going in and out and she had that poison ring and that whole ordeal just kind of threw me because I wasn't expecting that to be real in this world, you know? It would be really interesting to see a story about that family, the alchemist family, and how all that went down and like the first time someone time traveled and all that stuff would have been crazy. How that war began between those families. I think the character I enjoyed the most in Wayfarer was Sophia. She has so much sass and it's so much fun to hear her ragging on everyone always. I really enjoyed her relationship with Li Min, and I think Li Min was such an interesting character in this book. I'd like to know more about her because we don't really get to see much of her backstory. We just kind of get a summarized snippet of it. I wanted to see at the end what they were up to. Sophia's looking for her. I want to know more. The most frustrating part of this was watching Nick struggle the whole time to find Etta. Like that point where they were both at the Vatican and they cross paths, but they miss each other, and then they find the earring. Li Min says that she's dead, and I was just like, oh my god, we've already been separated for 300 pages! Don't tell him she's dead! And then Etta sees him, and he looks like he's working for Ironwood, but he's not, and I was like, oh my god, stop. It was devastating to see Nick withering away with the stupid poison. The stupidest thing Nick did was take that stupid ring and take that stupid bargain. What a stupid. I know you do stupid things when you're in love, but I was just like, no. This is so sketchy. Why? Why are we doing this? And then he did it, and the whole time I was like, I told you not to do that. Sophia told you not to do that. I told you not to do that. We all told you not to do that. And then you just did it. Oh, I did really like the twist at the end with him becoming the astrolabe and the belladonna manipulating this whole thing to find someone to become the astrolabe who was moral enough to take that on. How much longer will he live compared to Etta? And I was actually thinking before we found out that he was an astrolabe himself now and they were reunited, would he just live up to her time and then find her, you know? Because he has an extended life. I'm happy we had a happy end, and I'm happy Etta was the person who visited Rose and told her all the stuff that had to happen. I think in my last book tale, I was like, it has to be Etta or else none of this is acceptable. None of this shit Rose did is acceptable. And it was Etta. It was really interesting to see it come around full circle when they were at the auction and Etta wanted to steal the astrolabe and hide it again. And Nick was like, no, I have to destroy it. And he said, may the best pirate win. I thought that was a great scene. And then just the idea that she would become Rose. She would hide it and then the next person would have to protect it again. And it would just be an endless pattern, an endless loop of this war. I loved Julian. Oh, I forgot about Julian. He was annoying, but you could see that he was arcing into a better person, a more active, helpful human. That scene where he didn't know how to row a boat, I was like, are you shitting me right now? Artie is shitting me right now. And Etta's like, can you help me? He's like, sure. Flail. What are you doing? It was really nice to see him realize the stupid things he's done in the past. Also, I want to see where Julian is. Is he in 1940? Is he still alive? Did Nick go see him? Can we just like bring everyone to the common year so we can all just live in harmony together and sing Kumbaya around a fire? That's what I want. I wonder if Alex is going to do any spin-off series from this series, because there are a lot of little stories that I'd like to see more about. I'd love to see Rose and Henry fall in love. You know, like there's so much we had to jam-pack to get to the point with the astrolabe where we either destroy it or steal it again, that we don't get much about these little subplots that are alluded to. I'd love to see more with Li Min and Sophia and the beginnings of Rose and Henry and the after adventures of Etta and Nick. And if they had traveler kitties, they're all such strong, wonderful characters. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Wayfarer. If you were frustrated about the relationship being stretched for the whole thing, what you thought of the end and the new like magical elements. I'm Christine. I make the news every Tuesday. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!